What is up, my boys? We back downtown in the 6 right now. Got a nice little group ride to the Moto Social meet. My boy MD on his Aprilia RS660. I got a few other bikes here behind me, but I got to look sharp for the police here. We don't want any problems with that plate not being visible. But mainly, while I'm on my way there, hopefully we get a sick little ride in. I mean, we're downtown. Look at the views. Hopefully when I'm on the way there, I'm gonna kind of just touch on, is this a beginner bike? Can you start on the MT-09? Because while it may be very affordable and not cheap, but very affordable to insure for your first year of riding, it is not quite a bike I would personally recommend. Could you do it? Maybe. But I don't know. It's a whole lot of bike to be messing around with for learning. Look at that. I'd say one of the main things why I would not recommend the MT-09 for learning is really just, it's really just the power it has. I mean, the bike is just, it's the master of torque for a reason. That's what it's known as. It's one quick flick of the wrist and you're skidding the tire out, or you're popping a wheelie on accident, because it does have that kind of instant power. It's pretty insane. The other reason I would not recommend it being your first bike is it is heavy. It is a heavier bike. Compared to, say, something. Oh, sorry, we had to get those sound clips there. Jeez. It is a heavier bike compared to some of the, more beginner-friendly bikes like the 600, or not 600, but a 650, MT-07, things along that nature. And that extra weight when just learning to even just like clutch and go, moving traffic, like slow traffic I'm talking, you really feel it. And in combination with that extra weight, the seat height on this bike is very high compared to like an MT-03. I'm about 5'10", 5'11", depending if I go to the chiropractor or not. Reposition the back into where it should be. I got that shitty posture. And I mean, if I'm just standing up right now, we're barely flat-footing the bike. So yeah, just the height alone. I mean, if you have a little nervous twitch while you're learning the bike, learning how to clutch, learning how to go, and then you go to put your feet down, that added weight, that added height, it's going to be very hard to save what you're trying to do. Or with a smaller bike, you can easily plant your feet, catch your mistake, and you'll be okay. We got John, RIP to the MT-03, my boy. He got bored of that shit in like 4 weeks. How fitting when I'm talking about that, saying how that's what you should start on. But he got bored of that in like a month of riding. Just picked himself up a CB650R, which is honestly, I think a very good beginner bike compared to like the MT-03, because if you're anything like me, there's no way an MT-03 would last you more than a year. I mean, if you made a year with the MT-03, personally, I would be impressed with myself. Just because of the lack of power. If you have friends that ride and you're trying to keep up, it's a huge difference in power. Where the 650, it's very, you know, very forgiving, still has power to keep up. But yeah, right now we are just running on an empty tank. I am starving right now. The bike, on the other hand, she is ready to eat. We are fully gassed up. I am ready for some full-on sends. I think the next point I wanted to kind of touch on, I already touched on it, but the power, I kind of, once we get this light to green, I'm gonna give it a crack of the throttle and just see how bad this wheel wants to lift up. It's just bagging. As soon as you twist that throttle, she is giving her. Let's see. Oh, never mind. We're a little bit limited by light here. Oh yeah, there it is. She just wants to come up. In fact, it did come up. I mean, I'm not sending a wheelie there, but she did for sure come up. So if you're a little nervous, and then, you know, you see something coming, you want to get out of the way, you accidentally flick the throttle, whiskey throttle, that bike, not only are you just gonna send it over your head and fall on your back, but that bike is gonna be probably pretty much written off at that point. I'm not saying you can't do that with a MT-03 or with the R3, anything like that. It's just so much easier to do it with a bigger bike with more power, because it requires nearly as much, it requires like half to a quarter of the margin of error that you have with these allowances when giving it throttle, when giving it brakes, all that kind of stuff. It's such a nice time of the year when they're setting up the C&E. Anyone in Canada, or sorry, anyone near Toronto, you know about the C&E. Ah, beautiful weather, night ride, man. Let's go. If I had to choose what bike to start on, again, knowing what I know now, I probably would have went with, honestly, to be honest, I can't even lie to you guys, I would have done it all over again. I learned on an R6, and I had the most fun in my life. I never felt like, sure, don't get me wrong, learning on that bike, sure, I probably skipped a lot of steps, I probably rushed past a lot of fundamentals, but I also had years and years and years of motocross riding. So it's not like I just hopped onto a motorcycle and, you know, we were out there. But knowing what I know now, I would get right back on that R6, to be honest with you. That bike, it was so easy to control. I mean, it went exactly where I wanted to go. I never had it wobbling on the highway. Never had a close call spinning out. And to be honest, all the power is up top. So when you're like stuck in traffic, you're going slow, it doesn't want to move when you're down low. It's easy. It's very forgiving in a sense. However, if you're immature, you know you're going to go fast. That bike fully enables you to, and that's where it becomes a problem for beginners, because you're at these incredibly high speeds and you don't have those basic fundamentals that are actually critical to get yourself out of these situations. Sorry, traffic's a little congested here. You don't have the fundamentals to actually get yourself out of these, to be honest, fatal, let's not beat around the bush, literally fatal situations where you're going 200 kilometers an hour and you're just flying. absolutely flying. Like you're just playing with your life. That's the easiest way to put it. If you don't have those fundamentals where you need to make a quick flick, you need to like completely shift your body over. If you don't have those fundamentals to completely flick yourself out of the fucking dangerous situation, then, you know, there's no saving yourself from a crash like that. Unless you're fully airbagged up, but I doubt you're wearing a full leather suit with airbags on your first bike. Maybe if you had full leather, you'd be okay in a crash, but you're still coming out with some broken bones. So for that reason, it's almost situational. If you're mature, if you know how to handle your power, and you understand that this bike is going to enable you to go fast, it's not going to want to drive slow. It's only going to want to drive fast. And you have the maturity to control that. And a lot of those logics do apply for the MT-09 as well. I mean, this thing is no shortchange of going fast either. It's just a different type of fast in my opinion. Not being fully fared, not being in that racing position. You're more upright, you're taking the wind. It kind of makes you want to go slower because you just don't want to deal with the wind at 200 kilometers an hour. You'd rather just chill and enjoy upright seating position. Oh, we're moving again. And she is absolutely screaming. Yes, it is. Oh, this weather is absolutely perfect. I don't know if you guys like riding in the heat, but man, when it gets that nighttime coolness, oh, it's so good. You can slap on a sweater, be comfortable. Whoa, shooting flames. But now that we're on a road like this is the things you got to be careful with when you have the bikes that, you know, are in that, it's tough to say, maybe even honestly like a 700 up kind of category. If you're still starting and you're on anything with 700 up, aside from those 600 CBRs, the 600 Super Sports, we're just leaving those out of the conversation. Those are pretty obvious that you should not be starting on it. However, I did it, and here we are. But when you're on that 750, 700 and up category, you're going to start to get enough power to honestly feel, it does feel safer on the highway in the sense that sometimes power is not all that bad, and you do need that extra power just to get out of the way sometimes, or to merge effectively, change lanes effectively. Because I would much rather be moving quickly on a motorcycle than sitting in the traffic and just essentially rolling the dice with it. The person behind you is paying attention. Oh my god, that was a big bump. Jesus Christ. What the fuck? Just ran over some metal shit. I think this is a perfect example. Like if you needed to merge because you weren't paying attention to your GPS, you were more so focused on the road, and you're like, oh god damn it, there's my exit right there. And you have the ability to give it a quick throttle, safely pass the car while still moving over, checking your shoulders and everything. You can do that. Whereas if you're on a slower bike, your first instinct may be to try and do the same thing, but because you don't have that pace, that speed to actually pull it off quickly, then you might not have, you know, you might be, say you pass the car over here, but then there's a car in the third lane that's moving way faster than you because you're not up to speed. and you didn't fully check all 3 lanes properly, well, that's where having a little bit more power helps, because you can go above the pace of traffic. You can get in front of everybody, you can get on over. Obviously, in a perfect world, you would be very safe. You would move, you know, you would just carry on, you would get off at the next exit. But in conclusion on that topic, I would say, oh my god, man. Oh my jeez. My nuts have never been the same after riding a motorcycle. But in conclusion, I would say, oh god, I'm getting PTSD from these bumps. The best way to go about it, if you're mature, do the bike with more power. Think about it before making that decision, though. Really understand yourself and make sure. Really understand yourself and make sure you know you're not just lying to yourself because you want a bigger bike. Make sure you understand that, yes, you can keep it under control. And if you can't, be real honest with yourself. Get the smaller bike for now. Learn on it for a year or 2. That way when you're back, you know, more experienced, ready to go, and you are doing things you probably shouldn't be doing, but at least you have some base experience to fall back on for when you need to get out and get yourself out of trouble. You have it. So let's be honest, motorcycles are not really driven slowly. Nobody buys a Super Sport, nobody buys an MT-09 to cruise around town doing the speed limit. Sorry, I should say sport bikes. Maybe not motorcycles, but if you're buying a sports bike, that's not what you're doing. But yeah, I would leave it at that for... Oh my god, I had my turn signal on for fucking years. Jesus. I would leave it at that for... oh, my brain is turning off. I would leave it at that for what I think of starting on the MT-09. Kind of just my experience, more so everything. We were all over the place in the video, but that's what we do here. We just talk about my experience. We just have fun riding. I don't write a script going into these videos and, you know, have the spec sheets up on hand. We just say it how it is, how I feel. All right, we enter in the 6, baby. Put the visor down to block the wind noise, but goddamn, we're running a mirrored visor right now. I can hardly see shit. I love driving downtown at night, man. It's so cool. Seeing all the skyscrapers lit up, the CN Tower. I don't know if any of this is coming on camera with the settings I have on. I haven't adjusted it from my daytime settings, so it's probably uneligible. But I'll find out soon enough. Oh, I forgot I'm supposed to be recording the drive downtown. Shit, I was having too much fun. Look at that view. It's so sick. Damn. But this is the real view right there. Look at that. Look at that old Civic. She got the duct tape holding the quarter on. Respect it. Let's have some fun, shall we? But anyways, I'm gonna piece it off here. As always, thanks for watching. If you could subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. It means a lot. Drop a like. Let me know what you think I can do different. I'm always trying to improve these videos. You learn little by little. Yeah, thank you for watching my scrambled ass thoughts on, I don't even know if this bike was good for you, but you know, if it's a good bike to begin on or not. Wherever the video took us, we went there. So yeah, I'm gonna stop talking. Enjoy this beautiful 3-cylinder from heaven. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.